Here you are, confronting your arch nemesis of this match at medium to long range. You go for the spray down and... where did your freaking bullets go? So you've probably heard everybody online saying that they hate the random recoil in Valorant, and now you hate it too. Well, I'm here to tell you it's not quite as random as you think it is, and if you follow these tips, you're gonna start hitting those shots that you're missing. I'm Hootie with Level Up Gaming, and let's take your Valorant skills to the next level. Make sure you line up your crosshairs and one tap that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. So first up, let's take a look at the recoil patterns of the guns you're probably going to be using the most, the Phantom and the Vandal. You will notice that the Phantom has a smaller spread than the Vandal, but it doesn't have that sweet one-shot headshot potential. Because of this, you might find it easier to control the spray of the Phantom and get more consistent kills, but if you're really hoping to get those one taps or really hoping to get those quick headshot kills, the Vandal may be the way to go. And in terms of the recoil pattern, as you can see on both the Phantom and the Vandal and many of the other fully auto weapons in the game, the recoil goes straight up at the beginning and then starts swaying left and right. And this swaying left and right part is the random part that everyone is so upset about. And we will talk about why it's not entirely random and how you can counter it later in the video. But first, I want to talk about the first part of the spray patterns and probably the most important part, the nearly perfect vertical recoil that you see in those first 8 to 10 bullets. As you can see, on a fully armored enemy, it takes about 4 body shots. Actually, it takes precisely 4 body shots to kill them with both the Phantom and the Vandal, but the Vandal has a much higher headshot multiplier. So it'll do one-shot headshots, whereas the Phantom won't. And for both of these weapons, roughly the first 8 to 9 bullets, as I said, or 8 to 10 bullets, go straight up. In that case, you should be able to spray 1 to 2 enemies down without having to technically do anything other than pull your crosshair straight down and then adjust to where the next enemy is. Now, the amount you need to pull down is slightly different on both of these weapons, but the best way to get a feel for it is to just hit the practice map and work on keeping your 10 bullet bursts in a nice little spread as you see me doing here. If you get really good at this and you can hit even just half of the first 10 bullets in your spray in a 1v1, you're gonna win the majority of your gunfights. That said, you should really be working on your crosshair placement in general and working on hitting those headshots. You should also be working on your tapping, figuring out that timing for resetting the recoil and tapping in 1 bullet increments or in 2 to 4 bullet bursts. This is going to be crucial. This amount of micro control where you can get really good at quickly tapping out 1 bullet or 2 or 3 or 4 bullets directly where you're aiming without having to do almost anything in terms of recoil control can be extremely effective, especially if you're doing things to practice your aim in general, to increase the amount of headshots that you can be hitting. If you would like to see a video on where I talk about the best ways to aim train and warm up before you play, let me know in the comments down below. Both of those scenarios should cover the majority of your gunfights at medium to long range. If you're finding yourself needing to spray at an enemy for more than 10 bullets or so, you probably made a bad decision at some point leading up to that situation. But if you do end up in one of these situations, as we all do from time to time, I'm going to go off of the assumption that you are at medium to long range if you're having to spray a lot, because at close range, the recoil is quite easy to control. I know you can do it if you're doubting yourself. If you don't believe me, hit the practice mode and go stand right next to all of the practice spots that you've spawned and spray 3 or 4 of them down in one clip. And if you can't do this, then just sit there and practice spray transferring between 3 or 4 of those bots with 1 magazine until you can, which I promise you can do. It is possible, it's easy, I know you can do it. That being said, spraying with more than 10 bullets at 3 to 4 enemies or just 2+ enemies at medium to long range, I would argue that you probably shouldn't just continuously spray. Maybe go for 1 or 2 of the players and a quick 10 bullet spray down, and at that point, if you're somehow still alive, pause just long enough for your recoil to reset before starting spraying at the next set of enemies. The recoil in this game actually resets really quickly, and if you somehow survive long enough in a head-on-head situation where you're spraying down 3+ plus enemies, then you probably have some time to reset your recoil because they definitely screwed up. As an added little bonus tip, you could also work on adding crouching into your recoil control technique, as it's going to help you counter some of that initial vertical recoil that you experience in those first 10 bullets, making it so you don't have to move your mouse as far down on your mouse pad as you normally would have to if you didn't start crouching. It doesn't counter all of your vertical recoil, but it does negate a good chunk of it, so give it a shot. Now this is the juicy part. What if you're at medium to long range and you really don't have a chance to reset your recoil, or maybe you really want to master that spray so you don't have to worry about resetting your recoil and just hitting all of or the majority of those bullets as best as you can? Well, this is kind of the part that everyone is complaining about on Reddit and Twitter, because this is the part of the spray that's so random that they don't like. It's that last 70% of the spray with all those bullets going left and right randomly. I'm here to tell you that it's not quite as random as they all say it is and as you probably think it is. In fact, the gun model itself actually shows you where the bullets are going to go before they go there. And yes, that means that you can control the left and right random sway recoil that happens after that 9 to 10 bullet mark. Now watch very carefully as I hold down very long sprays with both the Vandal and the Phantom, and you can see that gun model going to the left and then to the right and then back to the left as the bullets follow it, trailing just ever so slightly to the left and the right. The randomness of this is that you don't really know if it's going to go left or right first and how long it's going to stay on either side. But obviously, you know, if it starts off going to the left, the only direction it's going to go next is to the right. So you just have to get the timing down. And the timing is a little random, so that's kind of annoying sometimes. But that being said, you just need to watch that gun model and react as it starts to sway. Now, obviously, me saying you just need to react and watch it is easier said than done. I highly recommend you jump into that practice mode and practice countering this recoil sway. Start off close to a wall and practice keeping a very tight grouping of bullets. And once you get the hang of this, slowly back up further and further away from the wall with a focus on keeping your bullets as tightly grouped as possible. Then eventually you can graduate up to the bots, where you can work on spray transferring to 1 or 2 or 3 plus bots in one spray. Now what you shouldn't be doing is just staring at your gun model and reacting to the sway of the gun model. What you need to be doing is staring at your crosshair. Really focus on that crosshair and keep the gun model in your peripheral vision, and get really, really good at using your peripheral vision to know which direction your spray is going to be going and reacting to the direction of the sway, so that you can keep it much more condensed than if you didn't do this. This is obviously going to be very difficult to implement when you're actually spraying enemies down in the pressure of a match, and that's why practice is super important. Just like anything else you do in the world, you need to train your eyes to watch your gun model and train your muscles in your hand and your arm to react to it. Over time, you'll see huge improvements in your ability to win those gun battles where you need to spray. I have been doing this for a week, and my ability to confidently spray down an enemy has gone through the roof. And if for some reason you're doing all of this and you're still losing the majority of your matches, check out my video you see on the screen right now on how to win in Valorant Competitive. It has some extremely useful tips that you will definitely find help you take your game to the next level, and I'll see you over there.